it's a kind of warm-up exercise before starting anything. So we can move to the next slide. So these are certain kinds of drills that I usually do. So you can see on the left-hand side, it's a circle. So I keep practicing my muscle memory to, to get a certain kind of movement. So it all comes with practice. And to be very honest, calligraphy, what I understand is it's a slow process. If you rush it, you will lose interest very fast, and maybe you will end up losing it. So it's a slow process. You have to understand that you will grow every day, day by day, and the consistency is one thing that goes with most of the thing, whether you're learning anything. So consistency and go slow with it. And right now, if you're not getting rightly the right kind of curve, it's okay. It will come eventually when you keep on practicing. All right. So on the right side, right hand side, you will see this copper plate drills, just to get your lines correctly, and the thin and thicks of the calligraphy, that pointed pen thing. So we can go to next slide to see more drills examples. And I'm going to tell you a very basic drills. I will start with like how you hold your pencil, how you can use it, and what kind of result you can get out of it. So, okay, so you can see the brush pen drills on your left, and it's a continuous spiral thing. So again, you can see thin and thicks in the spirals. And on the right, you can see the pencil drills. So the circular loop sort of thing, and the above is like the thin and thicks in a very different manner, kind of taper down, and the broader thing.
Yes.
Okay, so before starting, let me talk about like how we hold our pencil, mostly like pencil or pen, whatever you hold to write. So mostly how we hold it is like this. This is our very go-to kind of grip. So this is basically tripod grip. So most of us work with this grip. So again, in tripod grip, you can see the position of pencil. So you can move the position of your pencil. This is very upright position, and you can go till down. So you can experiment with these grips. So when you experiment with these grips, so you will able to understand the kind of line quality you get, and the kind of control, and the working area you get. So it's a really wonderful to explore this part. So let's start with how our hand work. Second thing I want to talk about. Can you open? Thanks. So second thing is how our hand movements work. That's very important to understand. That's really something we miss out most of the time, and we just rush into doing calligraphy. So let's say, so I will just use a very symbolic drawing here to make you understand. So let's see if you have these pencil marks are visible. Should I
Yes.
do with pens? I can use pen. So mostly whenever I do classes, so I talk about this, hand movements, because it's really important to understand, and most of the time we miss out. So you can see this is our shoulder. Okay, this is our elbow, and the kind of joint we have in our body is magical. Sometimes I feel ki our body is like the whole, the best thing in the universe, the way it is designed. So and this is our wrist. So you see, whenever we write, so we only use this part, the wrist and the our fingers to write it. But we forget to use our elbow, we forget to use our shoulder. So let's do one experiment. I'm also doing with you guys. So let's do a drill with the help of shoulder, and with the help of elbow, and with the help of wrist. So let's draw a circle. Let's try with circle. So we are going to draw circle first. So with the help of wrist only. So this is our wrist. Okay, this is elbow and this is shoulder. So I will write W for wrist, E for elbow, and S for shoulder. So now what we have to do, we have to lock our elbow and shoulder, and we have to just move our wrist movement and the fingers to draw a circle. It's an easy thing, and don't worry about ki you're getting it right or not. We have to just practice, just have fun with it. Okay, so I'm doing in this sheet only. Okay, so I'm locking my elbow and my shoulder, and I'm just trying to draw a circle with my wrist. So my shoulder and elbow is locked, and I'm trying to make a circle. So let's make a circle. So you can see I have a limited amount of area to which I can go through. The circumference of the circle, diameter of the circle is, this is the diameter. With the help of wrist, I get it. Okay, and I get little jagged line, little wavy line. You know, so keep revolving and see the kind of movement you are. Basically, you have to engage your muscles, and you have to understand how your hands are moving, how your finger is behaving. You know. Okay, so this is done with the wrist movement. All right. Now what we have to do, we have to lock our wrist, and we have to lock our shoulder, and just try to draw with with elbow joint. I'm locking my wrist, and I'm locking my shoulder, and I'm just trying to do with my elbow. Just trying to do with my elbow. There is a little bit of shoulder movement, but try to move your elbow. So again, you see the area you're getting is larger than the wrist joint, the working area you have. So this is done with the elbow movement. And now we have to make a circle with the help of shoulder. Now we have to lock elbow and wrist. Now you have to move your shoulder. You can move your shoulder. And if you have a bigger sheet, it's really fun, because you have a huge area to go around. And now you will experience the kind of movement you have. Shoulder provides you the larger area and the kind of very smooth lines, and a good control over the tool. So can you see it? So I'm just moving my shoulder. I have locked my wrist, and I have locked my elbow, and I'm just moving my shoulder. So this is done with shoulder movement. So I'm sure you must have felt why we are doing this, and some of you have felt the movement, the kind of difficulty levels within this all the joints. So let's do one more thing, and you can use the same seat. Now what we are going to do, we are going to use all three. We are going to use wrist, elbow, and shoulder, and we will draw the circle with the help of this. So you will notice the amount of shoulder, elbow, or wrist you're using. Maybe you may be using 10 or 20% of your wrist, maybe 10, 20% or 30% of your elbow, and maybe the rest of is your shoulder. So now you have to engage every joint, and you have to understand how your joints are working. So let's make a a big circle with the help of, you can move your, like engage the whole muscle and try to control, like with every joints, and you will have a nice movement, you know. So it's a kind of, it's a engineering sort of thing, one joint is connected to another and another, so that's how it's all connected and moving. So now you will have a greater control when you control with all three joints. You have a very amazing control over your tool. The whole idea behind this exercise is to understand the warm up, understand the drills, understand how and like how far you can go with the drills and the control and with the tools. So we don't have to just this is the one way how we can do it. There are many kind of ways to do it, approach it. So this is one of the way that I follow, and that's what I'm sharing with you all. So, yeah. So cool. So let's do one thing quickly. So let's make a 1 inches grid, 1 inches guideline. So you know this short of, you can see the lines. So I have taken 1 inches uh, grid lines. So like you can make it like quickly to, because I'm going to tell you like a very drills that we use in calligraphy and also in hand lettering. So
Sure. So just 1 inches apart, right? Like a ruled book.
yeah, like a rule book, 1 inches apart. Distance
Okay.
into line is 1 inches.
Okay, fine. Let's do that.
And then we can use HB pencil to do it and draw it very lightly. Don't make it dark. Drawing. So the drill I have told you before this, so it is also useful in when you do illustrations and all. It also help you in that. So right now we are practicing strokes. So there are two kind of strokes that basically we need to understand. So first is downward stroke. So whenever you do downward stroke, so always remember one thing, your stroke is going to be heavier and darker. So you will apply little pressure to it. So these are my downward strokes. Okay. So these are, okay. So these are my downward strokes. So what you have to check here. So your strokes are going to be darker, heavier. And while practicing, keep one thing in mind, just keep equal distance between these downward strokes. Okay. So we will draw downward strokes. You can go slow because I I haven't have it, so I can go a little fast. You can go slow, real slow and easy. So that's fine. So downward stroke and keep pressure equal at every point. Like when you start and when you end it, the pressure should be equal at every point. And don't apply too much pressure. So it might break your pencil. So okay, so these are our downward strokes. Now we will do upward strokes. So we are doing here upward stroke. So upward stroke is you have to move from down to up. Okay. So what really you have to do, your upward stroke is going to be lighter. So else everything is same. The movement is just opposite. You have to go down to up. So these are upward strokes and they are going to be lighter. So our downward strokes were heavier and our upward strokes is going to be lighter. So let's practice this. Okay. All right. Then we will practice both in one line. So how we are going to do it? First, you have to make downward stroke, then upward stroke. Okay. So I'm making downward stroke heavier and upward stroke lighter. So downward stroke and one upward stroke. Downward, upward, and downward strokes. So these are really fun to explore, and you can also see the kind of movement your wrist have. And you can also place your paper in a way the comfortable positions. And if you are practicing very regularly, so you have to also think of your back and your shoulder and your neck, because it's going to hurt if you do it regularly on longer term. So that's the one thing you have to also take care of. Okay, then we are doing again the same thing but diagonally. So downward stroke is going to be darker, then upward stroke, downward and upward strokes continuous. So in a diagonal positions. And we can do diagonal in opposite direction. You can change your grip, when you're going opposite. I mean, the comfortable position to your hand. So these were the downward and upward strokes. Now we will do downward strokes, but in two halves. So I'm doing downward, one full downward stroke and one half downward. Then again, one full downward strokes, then one half, but it will start from the middle. So just pay attention. One full downward stroke, then one half downward stroke, then again full downward stroke, then one downward stroke that will start from the middle of it. So you can practice. So this is just to develop hand and eye coordination and the proportions of capital letters and the small letters. So this is really fun to do it. Okay. Now we can move to downward strokes. So we will do downward stroke and we will make horizontal strokes. So horizontal strokes are going to be darker only, heavy only. So these are just to understand the proportions between the letters, in between the letters. So just try to make equal distance between the letters and between the lines. Okay, so these are the drills, and let's hope I'm not going too fast, right, Karan?
No, I think we are at a good pace. Some people are having issues with getting the darker downward and a lighter upward. So it's on
Okay,
just on pressure, right?
yeah, it's a pressure. You have to apply pressure, little pressure. When you go downward now, so you have to uh, push a bit, just a little bit. And when you're going upward, so naturally when you're going upward, your hand becomes lighter. And when you are going downward, so your hand is little heavier. So try to follow that. Okay,
Sure.
try, it will come, I'm sure. So basic, very basic thing, and since we don't do it regularly, so it happens. But let's do it. Let's try. Let me switch on the lights. So now we are moving to since we did the circle. So let's say I'm not drawing it. I'm just trying to ghosting. So I'm just trying to get my circle right. So do this kind of thing, just try to get it in one stroke. It's okay if you're not getting in one stroke. So it comes with practice. So do ghosting as much as you can. I mean, you don't have to draw, just see the movement, just see the circular movement. And at the same time, just see how your elbow is moving and your shoulder is moving. And your wrist is like, it's static. So that's how we make circles. So next we are going to make these circles in a continuous motion. So it will look like a spiral, a spring sort of thing. So you will get your curves right with these drills. Okay. And similarly, and at certain angle, if you twist your circle, you will see the ellipse. So we will move to ellipses. So what are the ellipses? Ellipses are just a circle only, but when you see with certain angle, so you will see a very nice squeezed circle. So it looks like ellipses. Okay, so let's make ellipses. So I'm just inclining my ellipses at certain angle. You can make it vertical also. Just try to make it vertical. And similarly, you can move it to, little bit tilted, maybe 60 or 50 degree. And because it's a natural angle, so do practice this. And then you go for the continuous elliptical drills. You can go slow actually, so you can just do these kind of movements, and you can stop at this point and again shift your joints, and again you can go up and you can start here and you can stop, and then again. So keep repeating, and again you see what I'm doing here. So when I'm going up, so my stroke is lighter, and when I'm going down, my stroke is darker. So I'm applying the above drill here. So downward stroke is going to be heavier and darker. Upper stroke is going to be lighter. So this thing you have to take care. And this downward and upward stroke is really important. And we are going to apply this in our later exercises that we are going to do. Okay. So I hope this is clear.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's add one exercise, because I have so many exercises and keep on experimenting with drills also. So let's do one quick. So these are the very simple and go-to drills. You can. So now we are going to do you know loops. So infinite sort of loops. They're not infinite, but the way it appears is infinite. Okay, so again what here I'm doing is, so when I'm going up my stroke is lighter, and when I'm going down my stroke is heavier. So you have to go slow and just and try to be consistent, try to make every stroke similar, you know and distance between them also be similar. So consistency really matters when you write typography or lettering or hand lettering. So consistency matters a lot. So if you're using thin and long letters, so every letter should be thin and long. And if you're using thick, and wide letters. So every letter should be interrelated. Okay. So, okay. All right. So you can do fast exercise also with this. So I would suggest go slow when you start. Then you can just have a nice movement. So you can go fast. So I guess these are the drills that we are covering today because we have a very limited time. So I hope everyone is comfortable with these drills.
Absolutely. The idea is that we can use these drills, once we're done with the session and practice them,
Yeah, yeah,
before we start, doing calligraphy type of hand lettering,
exactly. It will increase, it will clean up your lines. The proportions will be increases. Your hand and eye coordination will be increased. And also, Karan, these drills are very meditative, you know, because when you talk about repetition itself is a kind of meditation. When you're repeating something, so kind of you get into some zone where
Absolutely.
therapeutic, it's a kind of therapeutic exercise.
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
sheet itself is looking meditative. I can, it's beautiful how you've done it. My sheet isn't the same, but over time, I'm sure my lines will get cleaner, like you're saying. And yeah,
It
absolutely.
will get cleaner with practice.